Your entire existence has been shrouded in deception. They insisted that masturbation was a shameful act, something one ought to have left behind by the age of 50. Yet, there is something that remains unspoken. Beyond the age of 60, masturbation transcends mere normalcy. It may represent the pivotal distinction between vitality and deterioration. For more than 3 decades, I have dedicated myself to the care of men just like you. I am Dr. Michael Harrison, a urologist and a professor specializing in men's health at Baylor College of Medicine. I have witnessed the quiet repercussions of disregard, stigma, and falsehoods. Too many good men have endured suffering, not from illness, but from the shadows of ignorance that they never recognized. The reality is this: many older men engage in masturbation incorrectly, or even worse, cease the practice entirely. They remain unaware that the manner in which you engage with yourself, the frequency of such moments, and the intentions behind them can profoundly influence your hormones, your heart, and even your mind. Indeed, a single poorly executed action can lead to issues such as erectile dysfunction, depression, and even complications related to the prostate. When executed properly, it has the potential to enhance testosterone levels, promote restful sleep, and sustain the vitality of your vascular system. This transcends mere enjoyment. It revolves around maintaining vitality, restoring bonds, and resisting the effects of aging right at its source, within the nervous system. In a moment, I will unveil 7 insights about masturbation that every man over 60 ought to have learned long ago. However, take a moment to reflect. Imagine if a single aspect of your everyday life could unlock the secrets to enhanced health, elevated spirits, and renewed energy. Wouldn't you be eager to discover what it is? Remain by my side. The words you are about to encounter could very well transform the course of your next decade. Before we proceed, if you haven't done so yet, please take a moment to subscribe and activate the notification bell. In this manner, you will ensure that you never overlook another genuine, scientifically grounded health insight tailored precisely for men at your particular stage of life. If this message strikes a chord with you, simply leave a 1 in the comments. If it fails to do so, enter 0. Your insights enable me to craft content that genuinely meets your needs. Let us delve into the matter at hand, beginning with the first truth that often eludes men until it has already led to complications. The manner in which you have engaged in self-pleasure over the years, perhaps even spanning decades, may seem comfortable, even innocuous. However, beyond the age of 60, what was once a familiar routine may subtly start to turn against you. Here is where our journey commences. The most commonly overlooked error that older men commit in the realm of self-pleasure. Confidential insight. 1. Engaging in mindless masturbation may result in a sense of numbness and erectile dysfunction. Allow me to share a thought that I believe more men should have the bravery to express. Throughout the years, I have welcomed countless older patients into my office, each one carrying a quiet sense of shame, their eyes cast downward, their voices scarcely rising above a whisper. Eventually, as the dialogue deepened and became more sincere, I found myself inquiring, "Do you engage in masturbation?" There was, almost invariably, a moment of silence. Then, the moment of revelation arrived. Indeed, I find myself devoid of feeling these days. Or I cannot complete it unless I approach it in a specific manner, or the one that lingers in my mind the longest. It seems as though my body has lost the ability to experience sensation. Unbeknownst to them, the manner in which they had been engaging in self-pleasure, swift, mechanical, and devoid of connection, had been conditioning their body towards dysfunction. What are the repercussions? Silence, slithering, heart-wrenching. Mindless masturbation transcends mere bad habit. It embodies a neurological conditioning loop. Each time you hastily engage in the act, tension gripping your shoulders, your eyes darting over vivid images, employing the same hand, the same motion, and yielding the same result, you are conditioning your mind to link arousal with this particular ritual. Regrettably, the brain possesses an uncanny ability to learn swiftly. What unfolds next? As time passes, your sensitivity diminishes. Your ability to maintain erection begins to diminish. One may observe a growing desire for heightened stimulation, increased pressure, and clever diversions merely to evoke the same sensations experienced in the past. Responding to a genuine partner grows increasingly challenging. You begin to shy away from closeness, as it seems too unfamiliar, too gradual, too genuine. Here is where the true devastation begins to unfold, not merely in the physical realm, but also in the emotional landscape. I've witnessed men descend into a vortex of frustration, shame, and even despair, convinced that their bodies are irreparably flawed. Yet in numerous instances, their body remains unscathed. It has been excessively trained in an incorrect manner. This conditioning may result in a phenomenon known as porn-induced erectile dysfunction, or PIED. Additionally, it can lead to delayed ejaculation, and in certain instances, complete anorgasmia, the inability to reach climax altogether. These conditions are not uncommon. They are subtly influencing countless men, and the harsh truth is, many of them remain oblivious to the fact that it is something they have unwittingly inflicted upon themselves. Yet, what truly stands out as the most disheartening aspect is this. I need you to listen to me on this. When you train your body in this manner, and you maintain that path, it's not merely intimacy that slips away. Your confidence wanes. The connection is lost. You start to pull back. Your connection to your own body becomes distant. Touch is something you steer clear of. You steer clear of intimacy. For numerous men, that feeling of solitude transforms into an entryway to far more shadowy realms. Emotional detachment, despair, and even the initial indicators of cognitive deterioration. I have witnessed it, time and time again. The cost you incur extends beyond the confines of the bedroom. It resides within your essence. It's evident in the manner you present yourself as you enter a space. It lies in the moment you cease to gaze at your own reflection. Gradually, you start to fade away. I have no intention of casting judgment upon you. I have come to rouse you from your slumber. The encouraging truth is that your body has the remarkable ability to relearn. The nervous system possesses the remarkable ability to heal. However, it requires a keen sense of awareness, a measure of patience, and a fresh perspective on the art of self-pleasure. A pace that is deliberate, mindful, and deeply intertwined, not merely to sensation, but to the depths of emotion. Masturbation should not be viewed as an adversary. Yet, proceeding without awareness resembles engaging your vehicle's gear and pressing the accelerator while neglecting to steer. Ultimately, you succumb to exhaustion. By the time the damage comes to your attention, the repair process may extend far beyond your expectations. However, there is a truth that often eludes many men. Though mindless masturbation inflicts harm, there exists an equally perilous threat lurking in plain view. Something even more subdued, even more ordinary. Moreover, it receives commendation from society. In the forthcoming revelation, I will unveil how abstaining from masturbation entirely after the age of 60 could be the subtle force undermining your health from within. If you find yourself still present, and these insights are striking a chord, simply drop the number 1 in the comments to signal your continued engagement. Let us continue onward. What follows is something of great significance that you must pay attention to. Confidential insight 2. Masturbation alleviates prostate congestion and diminishes inflammation. I recall a man distinctly from a few years ago. We shall refer to him as David. At 68, he carried himself with pride and a certain reserve, embodying the essence of a man who preferred to keep personal matters close to the vest. He sought my counsel, troubled by the fact that he found himself rising 5, even 6 times throughout the night to relieve himself. He expressed a sensation of pressure, a sense of fullness, and even a dull ache resonating deep within his pelvis. He believed it was merely the inevitable approach of old age. What he never anticipated I would inquire was, when was the last occasion he experienced ejaculation? He stared at me, his eyes wide, as if I had posed an utterly ridiculous question. Years, he remarked. Since my wife's passing, I haven't engaged in intimacy, and to be frank, I believe that men of my age were meant to forgo such pursuits. That, indeed, is the illusion. Upon reaching a particular threshold, be it 60 or 70, the expectation is to simply cease all operations. However, let me share with you what I conveyed to David, and what I wish to express to you now. Even when you cease the act of ejaculation, the prostate continues its diligent function. It continues to generate fluid. If that fluid remains trapped, it accumulates, forming a stagnant reservoir within your body. The anticipation that preceded it, this is what results in prostate congestion, inflammation, discomfort, and over time, significant health risks. The prostate is not intended to hold fluid for an extended period. When it occurs, it manifests as swelling, inflammation, and irritation. At that point, one may begin to encounter a pressing need to urinate, a diminished flow, involuntary dribbling, and even discomfort during urination or ejaculation. Many men attribute it to the passage of time, yet the truth lies in a system that is overwhelmed and under strain. This is the moment when things take a turn for the serious. Persistent inflammation in the prostate has been associated with a heightened risk of developing prostate cancer. While I'm not suggesting that abstaining leads to cancer, I do assert that regular ejaculation can mitigate the inflammatory conditions that may render the prostate more susceptible to illness. Furthermore, there is additional information to consider. A comprehensive study conducted by Harvard tracked nearly 30,000 men over several years, revealing that those who ejaculated at least 21 times each month exhibited a markedly reduced risk of developing prostate cancer compared to their less active cancer counterparts. That is not a myth. That is information. However, allow me to redirect our focus to David. After our conversation, once he grasped the true nature of what was unfolding within him, he decided to make a change. He started to explore himself once more, not driven by desire or solitude, but by a sense of tenderness. Gradually, his symptoms began to show signs of improvement. The tension subsided. His slumber improved. Moreover, a spark ignited once more in his eyes. He rediscovered a fragment of his being that he believed had long been laid to rest. The cost of overlooking this extends far beyond a handful of restless nights. It's a persistent unease. It's a treatment that may not be necessary for you. The procedure awaits just ahead. Indeed, it may present an increased risk for cancer. All due to the conviction that a man of your age ought to relinquish this aspect of his well-being. Your heart deserves your attention. One cannot simply overlook the significance of their blood pressure. Pay attention to your prostate. Imagine if I revealed that the emotional shame men experience regarding this, years steeped in guilt, silence, and unease about self-exploration, intensifies the physical symptoms they endure. For this is precisely what the forthcoming secret discloses. Upon grasping the intricate link between emotional repression and physical decline, your perception of your body may undergo a profound transformation. Confidential insight. 3. The stigma surrounding self-exploration can harm one's mental well-being. A profound silence often resides within many older men. It's a familiar sight in my office. It reveals itself not through their words, but through their silence. Their eyes dart away, a subtle dance of discomfort, when I inquire about their sexual habits. Their shoulders slump at the mere mention of the word masturbation. They brush it aside with laughter, deftly shift the conversation, or casually inform me, "Doc, that's not part of my life anymore. That was from my younger days." Yet, the underlying message resonates with me. They didn't cease their efforts out of desire. Somewhere along the journey, they learned that perseverance was a fault. Allow me to speak candidly. This subtle, unvoiced shame stands as one of the most perilous influences undermining your well-being in the present day. For years, countless individuals grew up in an era where self-exploration was deemed impure, immoral, and a sign of frailty. You faced punishment, mockery, or a sense of humiliation. What about those initial messages? They remained steadfast and present. They have simply vanished into the depths below. They lingered within your nervous system, nestled deep in your bones, subtly influencing your connection with your body. Even at this moment, the outcome is a subtle retreat. You start to withdraw from the warmth of physical touch, despite an inner longing for it. One starts to perceive longing as an unwelcome sentiment. You cease to seek your own essence, not out of desire's absence, but due to the ingrained belief that such pursuits are unwarranted. As time passes, that disconnection evolves into something deeper, than mere emotion. It transforms into something biological, for there exists a truth that many men remain unaware of. Consistent, wholesome sexual touch, such as masturbation, contributes to mental health in tangible, significant ways. It governs cortisol levels. It elevates dopamine levels. It nurtures oxytocin, the hormone of trust and connection within your brain. It also contributes positively to sleep, enhances mood, and supports cognitive function. Yet, shame shatters the harmony of it all. Shame constricts your muscles, elevates your stress hormones, and weaves guilt loops in your mind that have become so familiar you hardly recognize them anymore. Shame serves as a source of stress. What about chronic stress? It is associated with anxiety, depression, heart disease, immune dysfunction, and even dementia. Once, I encountered a patient, a 72-year-old, writhed and engulfed in profound despair. He was free from any medications, devoid of significant health concerns, yet he felt utterly drained, emotionally numb, and profoundly isolated. He confided in me that he had not engaged in any sexual activity, neither with another person nor by himself, for more than 10 years. I believe that chapter had come to an end, he remarked. And beneath his words lay a subtle sorrow, not for the absence of intimacy, but for the absence of identity. Our collaboration unfolded at a deliberate pace. No medications, no extreme alterations, merely straightforward exercises to help him reestablish a connection with his own body. Free from guilt, free from expectation. In the passage of a few weeks, a subtle transformation occurred. He began to walk with a newfound stature. He found himself drifting into a deeper slumber. He chuckled once more. His blood pressure decreased. He remained unaltered. He found himself reconnected. The cost that shame demands from you is steep. It gradually saps your energy, one deliberate inch at a time. It deceives you into believing that you have outgrown the capacity to truly experience life. However, that is not the case. One is never beyond the age to embrace oneself with compassion, with respect, with intention. One is never too advanced in years to experience a sense of completeness. And if shame can inflict such profound harm, what do you suppose occurs when hormonal decline stokes the flames even further? The next revelation is one that catches most men off guard. Testosterone levels don't merely decline as a result of aging. The decline accelerates when one ceases to connect with their sexual identity entirely. When that delicate hormonal equilibrium starts to shift, its impact extends well beyond mere libido. It transforms your thoughts, your actions, your very existence. And that is precisely what we shall reveal next. If you're still following along and finding this insightful, please type the number 1 in the comments to signal your presence and engagement. Let us proceed to the 4th insight. You might find this unexpected. Confidential insight 4. Sexual activity, even when experienced alone, serves to stimulate testosterone levels. There's a truth I feel compelled to share, one that many men discover only when the moment has slipped away from them. A message I long to convey to every man over 60, one that deserves to be heard without hesitation or shame. Testosterone, the essential hormone that ignites your energy, strength, ambition, confidence, and sexual desire, does not merely diminish with the passage of time. That is the perception that has been instilled in you. Yet, here lies the truth I have uncovered after years of engaging with individuals akin to yourself. Testosterone wanes when one ceases to embrace the essence of a life fully lived. When sexual energy is overlooked, repressed, or concealed beneath layers of shame and stagnation, your body gradually diminishes its own expression of masculinity. It states that he no longer requires this. It begins to reallocate resources, redirect hormones, slow blood flow, and conserve energy. Your muscle definition diminishes. Your abdomen expands, your rest deteriorates, and that vibrant essence, the very thing that once made you feel whole, starts to slip away. Not due to age, but because your body has ceased to be reminded that you are still present, still breathing, still capable of longing. There was a man I once knew, a man named Frank, 73, a firefighter in retirement. Once, it was all about strength and presence. Upon his arrival, he appeared slumped and weary. He confided that he hadn't felt like himself for years. "I'm simply taking my time," he remarked. However, I examined his lab results. His testosterone levels hovered just above the threshold of clinical deficiency. When I inquired about sexual activity, he merely shook his head in response. The purpose eludes me now. That conviction, in that moment, poses the true danger. It's not merely the date marked on the calendar. It's the instant you cease to recognize your sexuality as an integral, vibrant aspect of your identity. I guided Frank on a journey of gradual reconnection, not with others, but with his own essence. Uncomplicated rituals, without a hint of embarrassment, only existence. In the ensuing months, not only did his hormone levels enhance, but his posture also transformed. His voice resonated with greater significance. "When does our wake, Gary Urea? Why me rhymes resonated with greater significance." He resumed his weightlifting journey. His eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as he spoke. The body reacts to that which you choose to focus on. When you neglect your sexual self, your testosterone takes note. Yet, as you bring it back to life, even through solitary deliberate caress, you are conveying a message to your mind. "I still require this. I yearn to experience emotions once more." In response, the brain rekindles systems that had long been shrouded in darkness. This transcends mere theory. Research has indicated that there are temporary increases in testosterone levels following sexual stimulation, even when experienced alone. The interplay of erotic imagination, physical engagement, and the tantalizing pull of anticipation reveals a profound impact on hormone regulation, mood, and motivation. Your body is designed to react to joy, to intimacy, to being fully engaged in the moment. In the absence of any investment, it gradually begins to yield nothing in return. What is the price? It surpasses what many men comprehend. The implications of low testosterone extend beyond mere fatigue and sexual dysfunction. It has been linked to heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, depression, and even a reduced lifespan. It transcends mere digits. It serves as an essential indicator of your level of engagement with the very essence of life. What could possibly be worse? Many men remain unaware of the distance they've traveled from their true selves until the journey back seems nearly insurmountable. Yet, a path to return exists. It commences not with pills or procedures, but with the act of rediscovering your own bond with your body, on your own terms, within your own sanctuary, free from guilt. This serves as a reminder to your very essence that you remain an active participant in the unfolding narrative of life. Prepare yourself, for what I'm about to reveal next will surely astonish you. For there exists a factor of even greater significance than testosterone, and many men are subtly harming it with each improper touch. Confidential insight 5. Erectile function operates on a principle of utilization. If not engaged, it may diminish over time. A subtle deception often takes root in the minds of men once they reach the age of 60. It resonates in this manner. If intimacy is absent from my life, then the concern over erections becomes irrelevant. I have encountered it innumerable times. Men dismissing worries about their role, believing they have outgrown its necessity. However, allow me to share a truth that many physicians fail to articulate clearly. Erectile function extends beyond the realm of sexual activity. The focus lies on the circulation of blood, the vitality of nerves, the robustness of the cardiovascular system, and the pursuit of a long life. There was a patient I encountered, Harold, who was 69 years of age. A robust past, an intelligent individual, yet he had endured a span of 5 or 6 years devoid of any erection, not due to an inability, but rather a belief that there was no purpose in doing so. His wife had departed from this world. He was not pursuing any romantic connections, and he concluded that that chapter of life had simply come to an end. What he failed to comprehend was that his body was not merely biding its time for his return. It was bringing everything to a close. What many men fail to grasp is this: the penis functions similarly to other muscles and vascular systems within the human body. Neglecting its use, leads to a loss of elasticity in the tissues, a stiffening of blood vessels, and a decrease in oxygen flow. Microtears and fibrosis begin to take hold, resulting in the hardening of soft tissue. Ultimately, when the desire to engage once more arises, it may no longer respond as it once did, not due to age, but rather from neglect. Here lies the expense, and it is considerable. As regular erections cease, the smooth muscle within the penis starts to undergo atrophy. The intricate web of blood vessels, tasked with engorgement, grows increasingly inefficient. Nitric oxide, an essential compound for initiating erections, declines. And this is the aspect that often goes unspoken. This occurs regardless of your intentions regarding sexual activity. It pertains to the study of living organisms. When your body lacks consistent arousal and engorgement, it begins to perceive the system as outdated. As time passes, the harm extends beyond the physical realm. It seeps into the psychological. With the body's diminishing abilities, the mind inevitably starts to mirror that decline. Confidence diminishes. Self-worth wanes. You find yourself drifting from the essence of who you once were, not due to the passage of time, but because your body no longer aligns with the identity you once embraced. For numerous men, this results in retreat, melancholy, and even the initial indications of cognitive decline. I have observed the unfolding of events, not in an instant, but gradually, silently, and entirely avoidable. What are your capabilities? Your body can be reminded of its significance, that this system remains essential, and you can achieve that independently, free from pressure and devoid of shame. Consistent erections, whether induced by self-stimulation or arising from non-sexual stimuli, ensure a steady flow of blood, maintain oxygenation of tissues, and keep neural pathways vibrant. This is not merely a pursuit of pleasure for its own sake. It revolves around safeguarding an essential aspect of your physical well-being and sense of self. Preserving erectile function transcends the mere act of intimacy. It serves as a reminder to your body that you remain involved, intertwined, and vibrantly alive. And let me clarify, it is all too simple to slip into silence, particularly when the world around you insists that, beyond a certain age, one ought to fade into the background. Yet, silence comes with a price. Your body holds the memories within its very fabric. One may ponder, if erections hold such significance, what other factors could be at play that disrupt your natural ability to achieve and maintain them? And that leads us to a concern far more detrimental than mere inactivity. The contemporary obsession that many older men fail to acknowledge until it has fundamentally altered their minds. In the following section, we will explore how pornography, even the seemingly innocuous variety, can quietly diminish your sensitivity, your arousal, and your joy. Classified 6. The influence of adult content on the mind is a topic that deserves attention, particularly among older men, who may feel isolated in discussing it. Adult content. At this moment, I understand that merely uttering the word might cause some of you to squirm in your seats, perhaps even prompting a desire to avert your gaze. However, if you choose to stay with me, I urge you to listen with both open ears and an open heart, for what I am about to share may profoundly alter your perception of your mind, your body, and your masculinity. Men in their 60s and 70s have sat across from me, candidly confessing their continued consumption of porn, not due to obsession, but rather because it's one of the rare avenues through which they still experience emotion. A significant number of them reside in solitude. Certain individuals have experienced divorce. Some find themselves bereft of their partners. They are not in pursuit of excitement. They pursue the essence of connection, or perhaps just the recollection of it. Yet what remains unnoticed by nearly all of them is this: the pornography accessible today bears little resemblance to what they encountered in their 20s. What once existed as static images or gentle visual hints has transformed into a torrent of rapid, high-stimulation, instant gratification content. The human brain, particularly as it ages, struggles to manage such an overwhelming influx without facing repercussions. With each viewing of pornography, particularly the more intense or rapid varieties, your brain unleashes dopamine, a chemical intricately linked to motivation, reward, and the essence of pleasure. Yet, as time passes, Continual exposure dulls your brain's reaction to natural stimuli. It grows increasingly challenging to experience arousal from the uncomplicated, tangible sensations of real-life touch. One finds oneself craving greater intensity, seeking out fresh experiences, merely to evoke any semblance of feeling. It transcends mere flavor. The subject at hand delves into the intricate world of neurochemistry. Your wiring undergoes transformation through the power of repetition. When the mind becomes accustomed to seeking out artificial and heightened stimulation, the body inevitably aligns itself with that expectation. Erections may exhibit diminished responsiveness. Achieving orgasm becomes increasingly challenging. Some men may find themselves grappling with a profound form of erectile dysfunction, one that is intricately linked to their consumption of pornography. In this state, they discover that their ability to perform is solely reliant on the artificial stimulation of pornographic material, leaving them unable to engage with a real partner or even in solitary moments devoid of such content. The implications of this extend well beyond the confines of the bedroom. I've witnessed men descend into a vortex of shame, anxiety, and frustration. They begin to convince themselves that they are irreparably flawed. They retreat. A sense of defeat envelops them, and lamentably, they fail to see the connections. They remain oblivious to the fact that the very source they sought for solace was gradually siphoning away their essence. However, I wish for every man who is listening to grasp this important point. This is not beyond repair. You are whole, just as you are. You possess the ability to be retrained. Even beyond the age of 60, your mind retains the ability to mend, to rejuvenate, and to reconnect with the essence of genuine rooted arousal. Yet, that restoration commences when you detach from synthetic elevations and permit your body to reestablish its bond with the tangible world, with awareness, feeling, creativity, and indeed, the quietude of silence. Certain individuals opt for a 30-day hiatus from all forms of visual stimulation. Some individuals gradually acclimate to it. What is essential is that you start to restore the connection between your nervous system and pleasure, according to your own standards. The aim is not to relinquish enjoyment. It is about taking it back, about owning it once more, about experiencing something genuine. Should adult content have numbed your sensitivity, the forthcoming revelation may strike even more profoundly. For while content may seize your mind, isolation can ensnare your very soul. The ultimate revelation I wish to impart may hold the greatest significance of all, not concerning technique or chemistry, but rather the profound effects on a man's body when he is deprived of touch entirely. Hidden Revelation 7. The most dangerous mistake, isolation among the myriad risks confronting older men. One stands out as more perilous than dwindling testosterone, more detrimental than pornography, and more harmful than any physical ailment. Thus, we find ourselves in a state of isolation, not merely the sort that signifies solitude. I refer to a silence that resonates on a profound level, the kind where you cease to feel the warmth of a gentle touch. Please refrain from self-contact. Cease the connection with your own body, not by your own volition, but rather due to the lessons imparted to you. You came to believe that men of your age are expected to leave that chapter behind. There was a man I once knew, a man named Peter. He had reached the age of 76, an engineer in retirement, courteous, assembled. Yet a certain emptiness lingered in his voice as he recounted the details of his daily existence. He confided in me that it had been more than a year since he had felt the warmth of another's touch, not an embrace, not a touch of comfort. Silence reigns. He spoke without a hint of sorrow. He uttered it with a sense of defeat, as if it were merely a chapter that had come to a close. What Peter failed to understand was that touch is not merely a luxury. It is an inherent biological necessity. The human body, even at the ages of 60, 70, or 80, is inherently designed for it. When we experience prolonged periods devoid of physical contact, our nervous system starts to enter a state of downshift. Oxytocin levels decrease. Stress hormones begin to infiltrate. The pressure of the blood surges. Rest eludes. The immune function diminishes. Most perilous of all, The brain starts to deactivate emotional and sensory pathways as a means of safeguarding itself. In essence, when we cease to feel the gentle caress of connection, we start to fade into a state of numbness. Not merely in the physical realm, but also in the depths of emotion. A sense of vitality slips away from us. We cease to sense the pressing need to connect with the world around us. And the tragedy unfolds gradually, silently. One day you find yourself breaking free from the monotony of your routine. A week has passed, and you find yourself steering clear of mirrors. A month passes, and the realm of pleasure fades from your imagination entirely. And this is the aspect that often goes unmentioned. The seeds of isolation frequently take root within the confines of the bedroom. When a man ceases to engage in self-touch, not merely for the sake of pleasure, but for the sake of presence and self-connection, his mind starts to perceive this as a kind of emotional withdrawal. As time passes, that withdrawal evolves into a self-perpetuating cycle. He engages in self-exploration less frequently, experiences diminished sensations, and grows increasingly convinced that there is nothing remaining to experience. The true price of it all. Not merely the absence of erections or the dimming of desire. It is the gradual dimming of self, of intention, of the vividness of feeling. It is the silent demise of intimacy. This solitude has been closely associated with depression, heart disease, and even premature mortality, not due to the passage of time, but rather the weight of neglect, not through the influence of others, but through one's own being. At this moment, I wish to express my thoughts with clarity. This is not intended to cast shame upon anyone. Life unfolds. Loss is an inevitable part of life. Distance occurs. However, what need not occur is capitulation. The act of self-touch, regardless of its nature, transcends notions of vanity or mere habit. It revolves around asserting that your body remains unequivocally yours. Concerning the communication with your mind, your spirit, your very essence, I remain present. I continue to hold significance. I yearn to experience emotion once more. I've witnessed men resurrect themselves merely by granting themselves the freedom to reconnect, to shatter the stillness, to reconnect with the essence of touch, to rouse the fragments that fell silent far too early. In that moment, their posture transforms. Their voice makes a comeback. Their flame starts to glow once more. If you find yourself still here, if any part of this resonates with you, then what follows could very well be the most crucial element of all. Now that you've uncovered the 7 truths that often go unspoken, I will guide you through the process of starting anew, step by step, with a straightforward yet impactful practice that I share with my own patients. A daily practice that aids in reshaping your body, rekindling sensitivity, and reclaiming what time and silence have sought to diminish. Conclusion: as we reach the end of this journey together, I feel compelled to address you not merely as a physician, but as someone who has devoted years to listening to the stories of countless individuals, men who have shared their fears, regrets, and on occasion, their silent aspirations. The discussion we've had today transcends the topic of masturbation. It delves into a realm far more profound. It concerns the connection you have with your body, the manner in which you bear your past, and whether you choose to accept it or not, your life, your sexual life, your emotional life, your physical life, is far from over, despite what the world may insist. We began with the understanding that habitual, unthinking masturbation can gradually lead your body toward dysfunction. The act of hastily moving through tasks, feeling detached and unfocused, carries consequences that are far from benign. It is reshaping your mind and diminishing your awareness. We examine the implications of refraining from ejaculation, noting its potential to cause prostate congestion, inflammation, and, in certain instances, elevate the risk of cancer. Your body is crafted for movement, and when it ceases to be active, various systems begin to falter. We delved into the quiet toxin of shame. It is remarkable how many men continue to bear the weight of guilt that does not rightfully belong to them. Guilt passed down through the threads of culture, religion, or family. Shame that finds no refuge in a man's harmonious connection with his own physique. We delved into the notion that low testosterone is not merely a consequence of aging. Rather, it intensifies when one ceases to connect with their sexual identity, and how something as uncomplicated as a solitary touch can begin to shift that current. We discussed how your erection transcends mere sexual function, serving as an indicator of vascular health. Indeed, it is a system that demands action or risks being forfeited. The price of neglecting it extends beyond the confines of the bedroom. It seeps into your confidence, saps your motivation, and even clouds your memory. We then open the door to the world of pornography, not to cast judgment, but to illuminate the ways it transforms the chemistry of the brain. It transcends morality. It delves into the realm of biology. What once ignited a thrill can, with the passage of time, dull your senses to the world around you. In conclusion, we examine the gravest error of them all: seclusion. When you cease to touch, cease to be touched, cease to connect in any manner, the body starts to withdraw, not solely from pleasure but from purpose, from emotion, from the very essence of life itself. The essence of my message is straightforward. You are not broken. You haven't reached the end yet. You are not solitary in this journey. Every system within your body, even at this moment, yearns to engage with connection. Your mind continues to crave sensation. Your heart yearns to unfold. Your skin yearns to recall the essence of being alive. The path of return is one that need not involve another soul. It begins with you. It begins with a decision. To cease diminishing, to cease the habit of apologizing for the desire to embrace the joy of feeling good within your own skin. To cease embracing the falsehood that age renders one unseen. What you choose to do with that is of great significance. Here's what I share with my patients when they're prepared to embark on their journey anew, not through medication, nor through remorse, but through being fully present. I provide them with a straightforward daily routine. The protocol I refer to as golden, just 10 minutes each day, serene, purposeful, and considerate moments dedicated to rediscovering their inner selves, free of constraints, liberated from expectations. Simply engage with touch, inhale deeply, and cultivate awareness. For certain individuals, it transforms into a cherished morning ritual, a ritual for the night, embraced by many. Yet it frequently emerges as a pivotal moment. For when a man engages with himself tenderly, not driven by routine or urgency, but rather by a sense of wonder, a transformation occurs. His body holds on to the memories. His thoughts begin to gentle. His spark reignites. Perhaps yours can as well. This transcends the mere act of reclaiming your sexuality. It revolves around the journey of rediscovering your true self. It all begins in this very moment, with you at the center of it all.